Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. Back in the studio, together, talking comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the fun stuff you guys love talking about. We're getting to that point also where springtime is coming, which usually signifies warm weather. In this case, it is not. But it does mean that we're getting closer and closer to new movies. But that being said, we're still in the midst of a March Madness final round bracket. I'm your host, Mike Dolce. As always, joined by the Lord of the Radio, Mr. Hassan Godwin.
Good evening.
Now, you were a little under the weather, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not even start.
Yeah. So last week we braved the elements. We figured out
stuff.
Someone braved the elements.
Yes. Okay.
And we managed to get our show going like as we did. We did. But we're back in the studio together. We're able to really go through. We have a really cool show tonight. We got some Deadpool news. We got some X-Men news. We got some Infinity War news. But we're going to start tonight with what we've been doing since 2 rounds ago, which is our March Madness bracket, which has been a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
I think it's been a lot of fun.
So far.
So for everybody who is coming to us fresh and coming to us new, again, we do this every week. You can catch us on Talking Alternative Broadcasting, which is talkradio.nyc. And then you can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Go check us out on Twitter, Michael_Dolce, all that fun stuff. We've been taking the best comic book sequels, okay?
Right.
We got a field of 16 from 2 weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
Which was not easy. We had Pat Shan, writer extraordinaire, in studio helping us out. Was not easy, but we got it.
And then Pat had, like ideas of his own. He had
he had some craziness. He had
little, additions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pat, doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You just nod. You don't talk.
Well, he fought for Thor: Dark World to get in there, which I was amazed that it did.
Yeah,
but it did. Anyway, so we went from 16.
And they ruined the list.
Last week we went down to 8. The only thing that was kind of surprising about last time was, I think, Superman 2 beating Thor Ragnarok was the only upset. Everything else was all chalk, as they put it.
I mean, Superman 2 is a classic.
And
no way it's not going to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's that's the fun of these kind of things, right? It's pitting these movies against and trying to figure out a really cool, which one should go. And there's no real set of rules. We the only rules that we had was it couldn't be a franchise reboot. It had to be a legitimate sequel, no matter what, even if it's a sequel of a reboot. So X-Men First Class got in because it's not really a reboot. It was a prequel. Prequels count.
Yeah, prequels count.
And we got it down to these last 8 finalists, right? We got Spider-Man 2 is going to be taking on Superman 2. We got Dark Knight taking on X2. We got Winter Soldier taking on Civil War, which I think is going to be that's going to be a fun one.
These are all so easy.
Logan versus Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We're gonna start with that one.
A little tough.
We're gonna start with that one.
Tougher.
I think we're gonna dive right in.
Start with that one.
Let's go right in. Let's just go. Yeah. Let's just do it tough. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is our producer Sam's, I think, favorite movie that's still remaining out of the 8 that we just listed. Would you nod that one is the favorite? Is your favorite of X2, The Dark Knight, Civil War, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Logan? Let's see that makes this matchup.
That doesn't work.
That's what makes this matchup really good. That's what makes this matchup.
That's not how this is done.
Yeah,
but you can't do that.
Matchup good.
But that's illegal.
Yeah,
that's an illegal move he just pulled.
Now the cool part is we were to anyone who was there, to anyone who was paying attention, we were supposed to have Christina Anapau from True Blood on.
Yeah,
she had some family issues. She was going to help us with that.
Right.
She had some family things to take care of. Everyone's okay. Everyone's alive. Everyone's kicking, but she did have to deal with that. So she's going to either come on next week or the week after.
That's good news.
So I am actually opening the phone lines. I made a broadcast. I want people calling in 877-480-4120. And I want people calling in and talking about any of the 8 finalists that we have and why that finalist should move on. I want them to be, the go-ahead bracket. So let's start with the hardest one. Let's do Guardians Galaxy 2 versus Logan. I mean, that's definitely a harder one, right?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Logan's an Oscar-nominated movie.
True.
But it's an X-Men movie.
Yes. Which is exactly why.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 wasn't as strong as the first one.
No.
But still a fun piece to the Marvel Universe, right?
Still better than Logan.
Oh, I see. No.
Yeah.
No. See,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with that at all.
No.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't go with that at all.
Yep.
You have a bias against Logan, though, because you don't like an old man Wolverine movie.
No, that's not true. And like I just said, I watched a Logan, Logan, not a Logan. That's a whole different movie.
Don't
watch a Logan.
Don't watch
That's a terrible
Don't watch
movie.
Logan, a Logan?
Yes, don't watch Logan, a Logan. I watched Logan recently in the last, the last week.
Yeah.
Because I was deathly ill. Because I came out here last week.
Sure.
Like you in the snow.
Yes.
And then I almost died. When there was an Eskimo. And he tried to mug me. But anyway, long story, but I don't want to go into it. The cops are coming. It's a solid movie. There's just so much that doesn't make any sense that it stops it from being a great movie. It's like, you know what? We can. They all got together. Mangold and Hue Jackman got together. Love Hue Jackman, by the way. Fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Been great as Logan the entire time. I've liked him in everything, even Kate Leopold.
Sure.
Okay? He's just a great actor, all right? They got together and they said, we want to make a really great movie. We want this last Wolverine movie, this third Wolverine movie we're making. We want it to be a really great movie. How do we make it a great movie? Mangold. And Mangold said, we have to pretend all the other movies didn't exist. And that way, you'll make a great movie. And you know what? They did that, and they made a great movie.
Okay.
And they managed to snake in Patrick Stewart, who crushed it.
Amazing.
In that role.
He was amazing in that.
Okay. So, yeah, someone just got electrocuted. For liking Patrick Stewart.
S is going down.
But it's like, okay, the last time you saw, and it was a Mangold movie.
Right.
The Wolverine. Spoiler alert. Sorry. He had his bone claws.
Yeah.
Don't even bother to explain where he got his claws back. No, not going to tell you.
But I don't think
I'm
it
not
needed
telling
it.
you.
I don't think it needed
See?
it. That. So
How do you not think it needs it? It's a sequel.
Because-
Then unless it's a reboot,
no, it's not a reboot.
which breaks the rules.
It's not a reboot. It's a future. It's set in the future.
Then
so
how
you
do we not know?
You assume that a lot of stuff went down. You assume
what
stuff
kind of
went down to
nonsense
get
is that?
there. Well,
That's
you don't even
nonsense.
know what the mutant plague is in the movie, but you don't need to know what the mutant plague is. You just need to know there's a mutant plague.
In the midst of a mutant plague, he managed to get adamantium back on his body. In the
Wait.
middle of an apocalypse.
Huh?
In the middle of a mutant plague that we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
You're suggesting he managed to get adamantium back on his body.
Wait, you're saying that there was adamantium in the second half of the movie, not in the first?
At the end of The Wolverine,
Yeah.
which is the precursor
Yeah.
to Logan,
Right.
he didn't have his claws anymore.
Okay.
Never explained how he got those back.
Okay.
They are a big part of this film because it's the adamantium in his body that's killing him.
Right.
So
Well-
even though you can argue that the claws themselves, you wouldn't need the claws for the rest of the skeleton to be killing him.
Right.
Fair enough. But you gotta explain how those claws came back.
No, I don't think you do. I don't
Yeah,
think
you do.
because it's not set. It's not
Yeah,
set like
you
2
do.
years after the Wolverine. It's set like 30 years after.
No, you
the
gotta say
Wolverine.
something.
Just,
They
you
made
know,
a
you
big
mean-
deal they made a big deal of him losing them.
I think that's
And
a
you know what
tough-
the thing is in the X-Men, you can argue that he went back in time. They did the whole Days of Future Past, and then they changed the timeline. In which case he never the Wolverine actually never happened. He never lost the claws in the first place, right? You can say
Yeah.
that. You can argue that happened. However, when they found him
Yeah.
in the future,
Yeah.
so that he could help them go back in time, he still had his claws. So it still doesn't make any sense.
I'd say for the movie
Doesn't make
itself,
sense.
for the movie itself, it didn't need to. You didn't need it.
Yeah,
you
it
didn't
did.
need it to enjoy the movie.
Yeah,
Like
it
I didn't spend the rest of that movie being like,
You asked me, Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
or Logan.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, those flaws make Guardians of the Galaxy
I
a
get it. And
superior film.
I'm disagreeing with you.
I what a surprise!
100% disagreeing.
Color me surprised.
100% disagreeing.
I'm gonna go
I think
home in
Guardians
absolute
2,
shock.
I think Guardians 2 is. It was like a TV series episode. It didn't feel like a movie. Like the first Guardians felt like a movie. This one kind of felt like, I know it was a continuation. I know it was a part 2. I get it. It's part of the story. But I think it actually hurt more than it helped. I think it was, they were kind of just at each other the whole time. It just
Like
wasn't.
the first one.
It wasn't. Well, the first one was kind of how they all got together. So I mean, I don't know. There was something about Guardians 2 that I walked away kind of just feeling a little empty. It was like eating a lot of sugar, you know.
Kind of like Logan.
No, but see, Logan, I felt like there was so much to it that I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
walk
much to
away.
it that you didn't see.
I didn't walk away feeling like I was.
There was so
I
much
missing
implied
something.
to it that there just wasn't there, that you didn't see, and then it ended.
I don't know.
it just the credits rolled.
And then the credits rolled, and that was it.
That's about it.
And that was it. No, I don't know. I think that's.
You know
gonna be...
what was more powerful was what was greater than both Logan and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
and it's not on your list.
Okay.
There was a tribute trailer to Hue Jackman, which played the "Hurt" song by Johnny Cash.
Okay.
The 9 Inch Nails. And it was they were clips from all of the Logan movies, of the Wolverine movies, including much of Logan.
Sure.
And that was way more moving than anything I've ever seen. That actually made me emotional.
Wow.
And I don't get emotional. What did some idiot say?
No one said anything. But, using our backup, which is Twitter, and our polls. We are... well, that's good. Well, hang on. We're going to go Twitter first. They are dead split. We are dead split 50-50, Guardians 2 and Logan.
There you go. It's not an easy call.
No.
Not an easy call.
No.
Logan's a great film. I'm not saying Logan's not a great film. But it's kind of a one-shot film. And it had to destroy so much in order for it to work, which I'm glad it destroyed, because I thought what came before it wasn't that great. And I think Logan is the first X movie. The first of those Fox, is that Fox or Sony? No, it's Fox. The X-Men is Fox. The first of those Fox superhero movies to really reach a significant height, to really do something.
So Daquan actually said Bryan Singer lazily claimed that Magneto gave Logan his claws back between Wolverine and Days of Futures Past after the epilogue of Wolverine. Now, did he actually...
No, you can't do it.
Wolverine just did it. I mean, Magneto did it.
He just got him back.
He just got him back.
I just got him
Well,
back.
how did he do it in the
we
comics?
had an entire...
How did he get it in the comics? How did he get it back in the comics?
They gave him back his skeleton. I forgot why, but there was a significant reason why he had to... He opted...
Because they're like, it's not Wolverine anymore?
Yeah, because they had him
kind of run this bone claw thing.
They had him for like almost 10 years
well, look,
with the bone
Magneto
claws.
could rip it out of him, I mean, he could put it back in. So... Yeah, no. I'm going to say that's legit. See, your whole gripe now is...
It's fine that it's legit. It's a terrible... And that's a terrible way...
But it's not Logan's job to tell that story. That's not the story they're telling. They're not telling you how they got it back. Yeah, but it doesn't... Sequels can jump around. I mean, theoretically speaking, Logan... No. There could be 8 Wolverine movies in between Days of Futures Past...
Are there going to be?
And Logan. Well, Hugh Jackman's coming back. All right, when we come back...
That's terrible.
We're going to continue this discussion.
You're terrible at this.
This is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in. We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
That might have been the best thing you've ever said, period. Like on the show. I mean, we're not even talking about like your opinions, they're okay. Segue, boom.
Yeah.
That's where the money's made, my man.
You know what? Now I'm going to end every sentence with boom. Boom. And that's what I do.
Exactly.
Boom.
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 All right. That's enough. That's old already. This show doesn't work when we agree.
Secrets of the Sire. Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Talkradio.nyc and Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Go
idiots.
check out SirePodcast.com also. It'll give you options on how you can view and listen and do all this fun stuff.
Yeah, do all that stuff.
Hassan, you sound like an old man. You sound like an old man. You sound like old man Logan right now.
I'm 100 years old.
You're like, it's the fact that people didn't question why Logan did how Logan got his thing back. That's why our generation is suffering.
It's not that you
and why they think Last Jedi is good.
I never said that out loud on the air.
I know.
You said that.
I know, but
it's not that you don't think it's good. It's not that even if you don't care. If you had said I don't care, that's another thing. That's fine. But you said it doesn't matter. That's where you're wrong. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because that's not the story they're telling in Logan.
Doesn't matter. That's the character they're using. A significant thing happened to that character in the previous film.
Yes.
And the...
Well, okay, no. But the previous film was not the Wolverine, technically speaking, because the timeline and the chronology.
The previous film was the Days of
I guess
Future
it
Past.
is. Yeah, I guess the Wolverine would technically be. From a timeline standpoint.
And the fact that he has a clause is a significant factor in the condition of the character in the
What about
movie.
that? No one cares about the Wolverine, and it got bounced from our tournament very quickly.
What about what?
I'm just saying.
That just happened. Is that supposed to be a counterpoint? Because that sucked.
I think
you're bad at this. You're not on your game tonight.
What Sam is saying, and he said this off air, is that
now you're dragging Sam into it.
Is that level of detail is unnecessary.
Oh my god!
It's unnecessary because it doesn't take place. Look, there's enough of a time gap in between that there are other movies that can tell that story.
Certain circumstances and situations and pieces of dialogue and things in general were not significant, then they would not be happening in the first place in these movies. Things happen in movies to a level of intricacy because they are significant.
Yeah.
Now, if you just decide, no, I don't care. That's your business.
No,
but if you say that these things are not important, then why was this information given to us in the first place if it's not important information?
So a couple different things, right? A couple different points. You got me fired up. That's good. First point is I'll go with one of my favorite comic books of all time, which is Stray Bullets. Stray Bullets. Go read Stray Bullets. David Lapham. He's awesome. It's amazing.
I refuse to read that now.
It's an amazing book, and you should read it.
Just because you're telling me to read it.
Issue 5 of Stray Bullets, and this is going back 20 years ago now,
right?
Has a really cool scene where this female character who is dating this mobster guy, finds the love of her life at a party. They have this most amazing night, and it ends with you finding out. Nope, spoiler. Sorry, it's 20 years old. Read it.
Nope, no, you're gonna give it away.
It has her find. It has the male character finding out just who he just slept with is. And that was terrible grammar, but that's okay.
Right.
So he basically understood. He's like, wait, you're Harry's girl. Oh crap, that's issue 5. Issue 6.
Okay.
Or maybe that might be issue 3. Anyway, the point is, I'm just saying in case. But the very next issue has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
Okay.
And the next issue has nothing to do with it. And the next time you see that female character, she's on the run with the other female character, Beth, who's one of the lead characters, and Orson, who you met at, again, I think 2 issues later. The point is, he bounces around the chronology.
Right.
You don't find out until maybe 20 issues later that, oh, crap, the guys, Spanish Scott came in, killed the boyfriend right in front of her, and basically set her into this drug-induced haze that you then find out, because they bounce around. But the fact that one took place in 1978, one storyline, and the next time you see them, it's like a year later, you're like, okay, something must have happened in between to fill that space.
Uh-huh.
In Logan, there's like a 30-year gap between the Wolverine and Logan.
Uh-huh.
If he didn't have claws at the end of the Wolverine, but 30 years took place and now he does have claws, I might sit there and go, huh. But I would think logically and say, I guess he must have gotten them back somehow.
Uh-huh.
But the movie wasn't, well, how did you get your claws back and why are your claws important? No, the movie's about a mutant plague that has killed off all mutants, and there's a young
Actually,
girl.
the movie's not about that.
Yeah, but okay, sorry. The movie backdrop is that there's a mutant plague. Wolverine is old. He's barely hanging on. There's a new crop
Why
of
is he
mutants.
barely hanging on?
Again, you don't know because they allude to these things that have happened. He does have a theory as to why he's barely hanging on. Because the adamantium in his skeleton.
Oh,
yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so there is a level of significance to the adamantium being in his body.
I'm not denying that there's a level of significance. There's not a level of significance to me knowing how he got it back. I don't need to know.
Well, that's just you, though.
I don't need to know.
But see, this is the thing, and this is where we always get into a problem. You asked me.
I do.
So I told you. That's why I don't choose it.
But I'm debating you as to why I don't think it matters.
It's an opinion. If you're going to tell me the significant thing that I have a problem with doesn't even matter, that's not really a debate. That's not a debate.
Well, I'm debating you as to why it does not matter. I'm giving you an explanation as to why it does not matter.
Your explanation as to why it doesn't matter is that there's time in the middle. There's a lot of time in the middle, in which case we can assume that something in the midst of that time happened, which gave him his claws
back. Right.
Right. Is that good writing?
It's good writing in the sense of they are not
because they have a term for
story.
that.
They're not
in writing. There's a term for that.
What's that?
It's called leaving it in the typewriter.
Okay.
And it's bad. It's also show, don't tell. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that didn't. It didn't show nor did it tell. It didn't do either of them.
There was enough of
there wasn't
feeling in the movie where you can sit there and say, okay, a bunch of crap happened in between where we are now and when we last saw him.
I know.
That's all, but that's all you needed to know because again, it wasn't a quest for how did he get his adamantium back. It wasn't a quest for anything. He got it back. You just have. I mean, to me, you walk in. Let's use Last Jedi as an example, right?
No.
Last Jedi picks up immediately after The Force Awakens. So in that particular case, there are gaping holes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way you can safely assume that those holes have now been filled.
If it had been a situation where in the middle of the Wolverine he lost those claws and he was like, I'll just have to figure out how to get those back or, I'll do something else. And then they moved on and the whole movie took place with it being that way.
Yeah.
Sure. But
so it's a
significant set piece at the end of the movie, on the third act, that he loses the claws. Okay? And that's a piece of significance because that's vital to what Wolverine is. His claws and his healing factor and his berserker rage is vital to him being Wolverine.
No, I agree.
So if he loses them and they make a big deal about him having lost them, and then the next movie he's got him back, and I'm not going to tell you why.
It's also tough to say because the Wolverine came out in 2013. Then you had Days of Futures Past that had a Wolverine character.
Yes.
Which also you could...
And he had his claws. And that's a direct sequel because in the last scene in The Wolverine...
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam.
Spoilers!
He runs into Professor X and Magneto.
Yeah.
Whom... Shanghai him to fulfill this mission that they're on for the Days of Future Past. Even more bull.
Uh-huh.
The last time we saw Magneto, he lost his powers. And he just had him back. Bing. Look, I'm all right. I'm okay. But you can extrapolate that, or you can interpret, because that's a better use of vocabulary. You can interpret that at the end of the movie, which was X3. That was
well, Days of Futures Past supposedly rewrote everything.
Yeah, but I know.
So we can go on that.
Yes,
we can go on that.
But only Days of Future Past rewrote everything at the end of Days of Future Past.
Yes.
So everything is still the same in the beginning, leading all the way up to that last event.
Yes.
Okay? So
The last event in the future? No.
Leading up to the last event in the future. Everything that every character, everything we had seen from the first X-Men movie to Days of Future Past happened all the way up till up until that whatever crucial moment where where Mystique decides not to kill Trask, and then the whole future changes.
Let's also say this though, right? I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is, because that's what we're doing. We're debating these two movies against each other, right? Is part of a storyline. There's no question about it. Whereas the Fox franchise of X-Men there's known continuity errors throughout.
Right.
I'm not defending it in that sense, right? But I'm literally going in to a confined story, and I think from a story standpoint, Logan is stronger than Guardians 2. Guardians 2 has the whole inclination of Peter trying to find his father, and then the father kind of just shows up out of nowhere and it's like, "Hey, I'm your father," and he's like, "Okay, great, that's good to know." That's why I wasn't moved by Guardians 2.
But see, that's the thing. But you're all right with that. You take issue with that, but you don't take issue with the guy having this thing that he's significantly lost.
Again, I told you there's enough where I can go in and say, okay, assume something happened to where he got his clothes back. To be honest with you, didn't even know
why can't you assume that Peter Quill has seen so much stuff that some guy floating out of nowhere saying, "Hey, I'm your dad," would be all right with him?
I have to accept it. I didn't think from a story standpoint, though, that being a huge component to the story.
Oh, really?
Yours is not a huge component.
No, his claws being gone are not huge?
They're not. From one movie to the next, it's not huge because you can assume that there's a movie in between where he gets them back.
I'm not seeing that movie in between. I'm not going to assume that there was a movie in between.
You can just assume that it's there.
There's an entire movie dedicated to him getting those claws in the first place. That was so significant they had to make a darn movie about it.
But they chose not to make that movie then. They chose to make the very end movie.
That's the world you want to live in. That's fine. I say no. I say Logan sucks and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 wins.
That's a tough one. Sam, what do you got between these two movies? What do you think?
Logan.
Logan's pretty good too. I don't know. This is a tough one here.
That's fine.
It's 50-50 on Twitter. The closure of Logan sold more than Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Daquan Kane.
Well, we're going to talk about money.
Magneto got his powers back in X3. Is also what he said.
He lost his powers in X3. He at the very end. He had his powers in the Days of Future Past before the timeline change. Though at the end of X3, they showed that he was able to slightly use his powers.
After Days of Future Past.
Yes.
Which means Logan comes after the timeline change.
Yeah.
Yes, but.
So if there's a time,
but in The Wolverine, he lost his claws, and in Days of Future Past, he had his claws again. So
then that's a problem with Days of Future Past, not with Logan.
No. No, how's that logic work?
It's weed. Because if he has his claws in Days of Future Past, then it's already has his claws in Logan.
James Gallagher just chimed in Guardians for the win. So we got a couple votes in that.
James.
We're gonna hold. We know what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit pause on this one.
Sudden death.
Sudden death. Yeah, we're going to hold off on this one. We're going to hold this one to the end, actually. I'm going to keep this one going. Keep chiming in on the comment feed. Keep chiming in. Call in 877-480-4120. When we come back, we're going to go through some of the easy wins, because there are two, and then we're going to get into the second matchup that I think is going to cause some confusion in the office when we come back.
Confusion.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Hello, this is Bruce Chamoff, host of the Web Design and Technology Coach. Join me and my guests every Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m. as we discuss the latest in web design, social media marketing, search engine optimization, and technology. We also discuss popular topics, including WordPress, making money online, better Google rankings, and more. Every month, we also feature the best unsigned music from around the world, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
The superpower you wish you had?
Teleportation.
Ooh.
There you go.
I always go flight. I'm always like, I want to fly.
You teleport. You don't need to fly.
Right.
You'd never be late for work.
That's what you would do. This is why you're the co-host of a middling podcast, because you don't dream big enough.
Because I can't teleport. If I could teleport, you think I would be sitting here right now?
You'd be on time.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, and streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, S-I-R-E. Really fun debate. That's what these things are all about. They're all about
I'm
fun.
not having any fun.
I'm having lots
I'm not
of fun.
enjoying myself at all.
I'm having lots of
I
fun.
want to go home.
We're going to put that one on hold. We're not going to move them
Can't
just
help it, I'm leaving.
yet.
I'm just going to... There's a little box just going to see me get up. And
Yeah.
And you're going to go on with the show as if I hadn't left. You're just going to keep talking to the square.
There's a solo shot on the video, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now, because that's, that's here I am. Here I am.
And there he is.
Yeah,
and he's
so-
just not talking to me for some reason.
Yeah, that's
What a
why
jerk.
at some point we'll get a real producer who can control these things. Otherwise, it's just me, and you're screwed. That's it. I'm your host, Michael Sire, Dolce, Hassan, Lord of the Radio, Godwin. We are debating
I don't
the
understand why
best
you get to be the Sire.
sequels.
We never really cleared that up.
'Cause I made it. I created the Sire.
I don't care.
Another book
There's
I created.
two of us, darn
Another book that I created. Good little segue. I really enjoy
only
that.
created
Is
the
The
Lord of the Radio
Mainstream. It is co-created by myself, Talent Caldwell. It's his big return to comics. Tony Moy and Darren Sanchez. It's about an interdimensional police force policing alternate realities, making sure people from other realities don't come to ours and start messing with what
That's
we
pretty
got
cool.
going on here.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited. Comes out in stores April 11th. We are going to have April 11th. We're going to have a release
make a big
party
deal out of it, right?
here, 7:30 p.m. At the Talking Alternative Studios. So invites are going to be going out.
Are we going to make a big deal out of the details of this book coming out?
Well, I covered all the details,
Unlike,
which is the best part.
I'm supposed to make a big deal of the movies that I watch, right?
Yeah, we're going to make a big deal.
We're going
to make such a big deal that it
it's
eventually
all right to make a
becomes-
big deal out of this.
I want it to become a movie. That's the goal.
Well, yeah.
That's the goal.
I'd like it to become a movie, too, because I'm going to leech off of that.
That's
somehow.
good. I welcome all leeches. I think that's a great thing.
Welcome, leeches.
All right, so we were debating Logan versus Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We're going to leave
And I
it
won.
there.
I
We're
won
going to
that
leave
one.
it there for
That's a
right
good
now. We're going to get at the end of the show.
Appreciate
let's
it.
do a couple
I
of
accept your apology.
no-brainers here. Looking back, I think I would have tried to prognosticate a little bit better.
That's a big word.
Yeah, I know.
Well done.
I know.
Well done.
Yeah.
How much money?
Meanwhile,
And the
I
Fiverr,
couldn't-
you got that off
meanwhile,
the
I
Fiverr,
couldn't-
right?
Meanwhile, I couldn't say Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I could say prognosticate. X2 versus the Dark Knight. Twitter, 100% Dark Knight. I'm a big X2 fan, but I'm not even gonna.
I'm going to pick Dark Knight over
Yeah.
X2.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna.
Heck yeah.
I don't even think we need to worry
Heck
about that
yeah.
one. That one was unfortunately kind of a no-brainer, and that's a little disappointing because
I'm a telekinetic, but I'm going to get out of this plane to use my power.
I've
been killed.
This one's kind of a neat one
Sucky
here.
movie.
This
I mean,
is
a sucky
Spider-Man 2 versus Superman 2.
You know what? That's a tough one, but it's not really that tough because Superman 2 wins it. I will say Superman 2 wins it because...
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
I will
alright.
say Superman... It's the precursor. It's the father of all... It's one of the fathers of all comic book movies that we see now. It pulled off a significant comic book feel 30 years before they became prominent. Spider-Man 2 is a great follow-up to Superman 2. But No, I got to go with the classic.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Spider-Man 2 is.
I don't care what you guys say.
Spider-Man.
I think that was. I think that was made apparent in the last act.
Spider-Man 2 is one of the best comic book films. Period. You could argue Superman, the first Superman, is better than the second Superman.
Well, here again, we do have some flaws in Spider-Man 2.
Name them. Go ahead. You didn't. They didn't explain how he got his web.
First of all, they don't
skeleton
explain
back.
why there's an elevated train system in the middle of New York that just happens to be there.
Yes, I know. They did make that up. There's no question. They made that up. And they blatantly admit that. There are, I mean, it is an elevator. There is an elevator. And the Harlem River line, Harlem River, 125th Street, it is elevated. It's up there.
Yeah.
It's not what you see in the movie.
It's not even close to what you see in the movie. It's
but
not
it's
as
there,
prominent.
But it's there.
Yeah.
I could say maybe they had construction.
Maybe
they
Sure.
constructed it.
Sure. The other slight nitpick, and these are only nitpicks because it really doesn't affect the movie at all, really, for me. But
Yeah.
they're only nitpicks. Otto Octavius is trying to build this stupid fusion bubble.
Sure.
Meanwhile, he's got nanotechnology and small, micro brains that wire into his spine and enhance his power and enhance his body strength. And enhances, his. I mean, he became a supervillain because of those things. That's all he had were tentacles, and he became a potent supervillain that gave the only one in the original movies that genuinely gave Spider-Man a run for his money.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he trying to cash in on that technology?
But that's the same question as to why Spider-Man doesn't try to cash. I mean, he tried to cash in, but then his uncle died. I mean, they at least give him reasons for that. But
I'm just talking about Octavius. He could have gotten funding for his tritium.
Yeah.
By selling that nanotechnology.
Yeah, but he was also mentally unstable, thanks to
He
everything.
wasn't mentally unstable until after his wife he shredded his wife with his experiment.
Yeah.
Then he kind of lost.
I think the trauma
the cheese
of
fell off
having
his cracker.
these tentacled arms severed to him, or no, that's not the right word.
Attached
to him was enough to say, you know what? Maybe he wasn't thinking clearly. He's had better days.
I'm just saying, you're looking for funding.
That being said, very focused supervillain, right? He is just very focused.
He was fantastic.
He's got a one-track mind. I would sit there and say,
but I don't know, General Zod.
I know
General Zod compared to Otto Octavius. It's a toss-up, and I'm telling you, I'm siding out of sheer loyalty. I'm siding with Terrence Stamp. I'm going General Zod.
Here's where it becomes a challenge, right?
General Zod.
I can literally sit here and say that I think Logan is a genuinely better film than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I can't sit here and genuinely say one is better than the other.
That's the problem.
This is really a stalemate. Let's go to Twitter. Let's see what Twitter had to say
Twitter
about
lets us
this.
down.
Twitter lets you down.
Twitter has, because they're a bunch of idiots on Twitter.
This one, unanimous Spider-Man 2 over Superman 2.
Wow. They're all idiots.
That's a tough one.
They're all idiots.
You're going to go Spider-Man 2 over Superman 2?
What makes Spider-Man 2... Now, you're going to have to qualify that. What makes it a better movie than Superman 2? Let's see that.
I will be honest with you. I don't have a reason.
See, now, that's the thing. You asked about Wolverine. You asked about Logan. And you asked about Guardians, and I gave you a detailed explanation as to why I think that one wins over the other.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The problem is that Spider-Man 2 was made so much later that movie making in general is
fair.
of better quality. The writing I felt was better. The acting was definitely better. The special effects were better. So there's just so much, even though they may be comparable, there's still...
That's all superficial, though.
Right, but it's the polish that makes the difference. If the underlying bones and skeleton are the same for each, but the polish on top is better for one than the other, then that's the better movie.
Okay, so screw Harryhausen and everything that he's done, because now we have CGI, right? That's the logic of this crew. Right?
It's not just the special effects.
No, I think if you were to do a pro-con list, right, and you go down the pros and the cons for the story, I think you'd end up with boy, I can't pick one over the other.
Well, that's another thing I'm talking about. Like, look, if we're gonna use the time lag between the two of them, you're gonna have to think of the obstacles that Richard Donner had to overcome to produce. Well, he didn't really make that because it was a De Laurentiis, but the obstacles that they had to overcome to make a movie of that caliber. That still, all the way back before those movies were being made, it's still comparable to now when they're making these movies every week. When they're cranking them out every week. So I mean,
but they both. That's what I'm saying. I wish I almost didn't bracket these two up in the same category because they both come from an era when it was dicey.
It's not a fair one anyway because most of the people who voted weren't even alive when that movie came out. I guarantee you. Guarantee you.
What year did it come out? 80?
No, 1970.
So I was maybe a zygote.
78,
if it was 78, if it was 78, then I was a twinkle
80.
in my mom's
there.
eye at that point.
And I'm proud to say it.
But I grew up but I also
man.
grew up not having any comic book movies, and that was one of the comic book movies that.
That's what I'm talking about. You know?
No, but again, this is tough. This is tougher than I thought here.
Of course.
So Dark Knight, we know moves on over X2. I don't think that's a problem. Let's do a little shifting. We'll come back to that one again. We'll do our final votes because we got 20 more minutes of show left. But I want to make sure everything gets its equal due time here. 1981. So good. I was still. I was there.
You were still alive.
I was alive. Civil War, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
I don't go nuts over Winter Soldier like most people do. I don't know why. There's something
wrong with your brain.
No, so I want to genuinely ask you a question, and we have time before we have to go to break, which is good. So I want to genuinely ask you a question, and I'm not going to debate. This is not a debate question. This is a legitimate. I'm curious what you think question for this.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
What is it about Winter Soldier that was so exciting? Was it the big twist? Was it the plot twist for Hydra?
No, because I thought that plot twist was kind of okay. I didn't think you needed it. I just thought it was a solid film. It was one of the first sequels.
Okay.
Right? In the beginning of Tier 1, right? Or Phase 1.
Okay.
Right? It kind of set the stage. The Iron Man movies were subsiding.
Yeah.
So now Captain America kind of comes to the forefront. It's not an Avengers movie.
I agree with that.
It's a Captain America
movie. I agree with
movie.
that.
And he comes to the forefront. There's great action in it. There are great characters in it.
Yeah.
And it's just a solid ride.
Yeah.
You know?
I would agree that it's solid, but I just felt like it was like a B+. I feel like what Civil War was trying to do was kind of like an A. We got a caller on line one. We got Casey from the Bad Coyote Funky Bunch. Mr. Casey, what's up, my man?
Mike, what's cooking, brother?
We are talking best sequels in our March Madness bracket.
I've been following this like a fiend. It just happens that tonight is the one night I've gotten the chance to call in, and I couldn't be happier with the Final Four action.
Good. What do you want to comment on?
Well, when I popped in tonight, the first thing I caught was the Spider-Man 2 versus Superman 2.
Yep.
Right.
Now, I can appreciate old film. Don't get me wrong. Things made before I was born, I love it. Guys like Jack Kirby, my absolute favorite comic book guy. There's no bones about it. But when it comes to Spider-Man 2, I'm thinking this movie is going all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I rewatched it last night.
Ooh.
And I gotta tell you,
yeah,
it has everything you could ever want in a comic book movie. It's got real stakes. It's got a key villain. Just everything comes together in such a nice, polished way. There's nothing wasted in this movie. You know?
Yeah.
Superman 2, it's so inconsistent. It doesn't even have a single good cut of the film.
That's actually,
which
a valid point as well, too.
Well, there's two cuts of the film.
Because what I don't know is, and I may have missed it, but is it the Donner cut that you've got on there, or Superman 2 in general?
The
Superman 2, just the theatrical release.
Yeah,
not the Donner cut
came years later.
We can't do the. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things too. We're not going to do
and
like
that's technically a reboot.
We're not doing the Batman v Superman, Zack Snyder extended edition. When we. I mean, it would have made our tournament anyway because it was terrible. But either way,
yeah. Well, I was going to say if there's a best of anything, it's definitely.
But that was our ground rules. Our ground rules were, the theatrical release version of it. It's a very good point about Spider-Man 2, and I do agree with that. I think it does go all the way. We had an earlier debate, and I want to get your take. Guardians 2 or Logan?
Well, see, here's my thing, and maybe this is just conjecture. As a sequel, Guardians 2 is a better film, but as a film, Logan is better. Because Logan for me holds a very special place in my heart because it really tugs on your emotional heartstrings. You're seeing the end of an almost 20-year run of a character you've loved through good films and bad, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't follow up on anything directly. Like, you can go into Logan without really having seen any of the other X-Men. And
You
only
can make
kind of-
assumptions about what happened in between, right?
You have to.
Really?
You have to.
That was a good response,
Yeah.
actually. That was a good response.
You have to. You
That-
know why?
Damn it, that was
Because
supposed to be it. That was
Yeah.
supposed to be it.
You know why you have to make assumptions? Because they didn't
you're killing me,
freaking tell
Casey.
you.
You're killing me.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're killing me. I have to go read back.
Well, you have to make assumptions about what happens, but that doesn't harm the film as a whole.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Sure it does.
well, hold on. If I had to pick the two for the purposes of this bracket, greatest comic book sequel,
Yeah.
I would give it to Guardians 2 because it follows up on everything in Guardians 1 and more.
This is
I agree.
Logan, there's nothing left hanging. There's nothing that's it's not picking up from anything specific in the previous film.
My original assertion is the only way they could make a really good Logan film is to discard everything that came before it.
Sure.
And that was the only way they were able to pull that film off. It's because it utterly ignored every other film that came before it.
It did.
And it ended all of those films pretty significantly. Right. Because not only did they kill off Wolverine, but they killed off all the other X-Men, including Professor Xavier. Yes. So
Casey, I think your argument might have won this one for Guardians 2. I think that's a good, because we are talking about the best sequel.
That's crazy that this guy calls in.
Yeah.
Okay? And you go with him, like, immediately. I was arguing that the entire segment about, you asked about a sequel, you asked about storytelling, sequels.
Yeah, but he did a much better job.
Fine.
Casey, thank you so much for your call. We will have you back on the show soon.
I'm only 20 minutes away from the studio. I'm always happy to pop in.
We'll get you back on. We'll get you back on. When we come back, we're going to put a bow on this.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, and on the show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
I used to work for one of these news websites. I mean, you would basically scour news, find what was the news about that news.
Don't most of them just steal news from other sites?
Oh, well, you're not stealing, you're quoting. It's much different.
Oh, okay.
It's much different.
All right. I'm going to quote your car after we leave this evening.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I want to thank our caller, Casey Straz.
Yes, thank you.
From Bad Coyote Funky Podcast. He's been on before. We'll get him on again. Daquan Kane's been been commenting
'Cause
on
I
the
won.
storm, which we love. Thank you for your
that's a good
input.
thing.
Brian Phillips, one of our beloved patrons, which I'd like to list off right now.
Who do you vote for? You vote
Secrets
for
of the
you?
Sire is brought to you by all of our beloved patrons. We have dedicated fans: Matt Byer, Ashley Haikai, our program director Stephanie Dolce, our executive producer Steve Hovecki, Brian Phillips and Christina Gillen, and Einar Peterson, and our Uber fan Christina Dolce. No, Brian Phillips chimed in. I am agreeing with Hassan, and I don't like that.
Yeah, something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong.
So he is all about that. So
I'm all about Brian Phillips today.
because we're kind of we're bumping up against the last segment
Yeah,
here.
let's do
The
this.
Winter Soldier Civil War debate. I'm
No
gonna
debate. Winter Soldier is a better movie.
I'm gonna sit there
Move
well, no, but I think the only reason I'll say it, to move on, it is a better Captain America sequel. I think Civil War is a better Avengers sequel than Avengers 2.
Than Avengers 2.
Right?
Captain America is
It's
like
Captain America Civil War, and it's
Right.
not really
right.
because
they just
what
use
they-
it as
what
an
they
excuse to
attempted
make another
do-
event.
Right. What they attempted to do in Civil War, though, is far greater than what was accomplished in Winter Soldier. Even though Daequan does point out that Winter Soldier set up every plot the MCU went on to use. Can I take a quick detour?
Sure.
Isn't it amazing that a character that for years Brevoort at Marvel was like, we are never bringing Bucky back. That was like their big rule. Do not bring Bucky back. And then Ed Brubaker, who is the writer of the series, is like, I want to bring Bucky back, and I want to do it like this. And Brevoort's like, okay,
go ahead, bring him back.
okay, go ahead, bring him back. And he becomes he's like the key guy in Infinity War, right? Like, I mean, he is literally setting up, like Daequan said, everything that's happening. So it's if I'm Ed Brubaker, I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid. I think that's exactly what I'm doing at that point. I think that's a big one.
And it's
So.
well deserved.
All right, so
cup of Kool-Aid.
we're gonna move Guardians 2 ahead in the bracket. We're gonna give it an upset over Logan. I think that's goes without saying. We already said The Dark Knight over X2. There really wasn't much of a debate there. I love X2. I'm glad it made it this far. I was its lone champion, which I'm surprised at because I thought X2 was. I mean, it's just amazing.
That's not a good movie.
I can't.
Not a good movie.
Yeah. Winter Soldier, yeah, all right. I'm gonna give Winter Soldier the nod. Give Winter Soldier the nod. Again, for me, it's funny though. I enjoyed it, but I don't get the reverence for this movie, Winter Soldier.
Because it was good.
It was solid.
It was good at the time when it wasn't taken for granted that Marvel movies were going to be good.
Okay.
And the one of the great accomplishments was the first Captain America movie. Because I literally walked in there and was like, it's going to be a joke. It's going to Captain America. Come on, give me a break. And it was fantastic. It was a fantastic film. But we're not talking about firsts. We're talking about sequels.
Yeah.
So the fact that they did a follow-up to that movie that surprised everyone, and the follow-up was a great movie.
Yeah.
And they used it as a catalyst for all the stuff that came after that.
Yeah.
It's a gateway.
Another little slight detour. What great chemistry Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson have in these films that they should be getting together, but they're not going to do it. They purposely brought Sharon Carter in just to because that's a storyline from the comics that they're trying to force. But I'm kind of sitting there going like, no.
Yeah, and then they forced her together with the Hulk, and that's like
and that I was like, no, I want to see because in the comics, Captain America I think does at some point hook up with Black Widow at some point. Like in the 80s.
Black Widow hooked up with a lot of people.
Well, she's,
Mostly Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, very big. That's a very big.
Yeah,
especially in the Ultimates, that was a big deal.
That's true. Yeah, that's true, too.
No spoilers, but it was a big deal. And
yeah.
It ended bad. It ended badly.
It always does, doesn't it? I mean, there's no winning that one.
No.
There's no winning that one.
No.
But no, all right. So I'm gonna give Winter Soldier the nod on that as well, too. I don't get the reverence, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're coming back to the Spider-Man 2 and Superman 2. I mean, I think just based on everything, Twitter especially kind of reinforced it. I think Casey came in and I think did a nice job kind of explaining it as well too. I think Spider-Man 2's got it. I think so too.
Fine.
I think Spider-Man 2. I think
you're all wrong.
There's enough.
You're all a bunch of fools, but okay.
There's enough in there that
I can lose gracefully, you bunch of morons.
So we have a Final Four.
Yep.
We have a Final Four now.
Okay.
Okay. We've got Guardians 2 is going to be taken on. What did we say? Not Superman 2, but Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yeah.
So Winter Soldier, Guardians 2.
Winter Soldier.
And then we have Dark Knight, Spider-Man 2.
Ooh, Spider-Man 2.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Those are my picks.
I'm going to just throw this out on Twitter. I'm going to do all 4 at once. We're just going to mash them up all together. We're going to talk about this next week because we're going to have a fun show next week. We're going to hoping Christina Anapau can come back on from True Blood. We were supposed to have her on tonight again. For anybody who's looking for her, we apologize. She had some family issues to deal with. We totally understand. She's a super awesome guest, really good person, has a really cool movie out. We're hoping to get her on next week, if not the week after. And yeah, we're gonna just debate those final 4 next week. I'm gonna throw up the poll on Twitter. So go to @Michael_Dolce and vote. We're gonna do it all week long, so you can vote for 7 days. I'm gonna keep chiming back to it so you can get it. And real quick before we go, we're gonna do a little spinning the racks.
We gotta find the guy who's saying that and kill him.
FX kills Donald Glover helmed Deadpool animated series.
Oh.
Donald Glover, FX, and Marvel has split up over creative differences in a proposed animated Deadpool series. When the project was announced, Glover, along with his brother Steven, was slated to create the animated adult action comedy series for FX. In a statement released Saturday, due to creative differences, they've decided to part ways. Dark Phoenix just got pushed. New Mutants has gotten pushed. Yeah. All of these Fox movies are getting pushed.
Getting hit in the
You
head.
think it's something to do with the Fox-Disney merger?
I think so. I agreed with you earlier when you suggested that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah,
like
that
something,
makes a lot of sense.
something,
Something's going on.
Something fishy's going on.
Although those products aren't really that
Yeah.
great, they're not that interesting. Other than the Deadpool
Yeah.
animated, which might have been really good.
Yeah. All right, next week we're going to pick a winner from Final Four. We're going to review Ready Player One, and we'll probably have a guest or something.
Yeah, we're going to do some stuff.
Just do our stuff.
Podcast stuff.
See you next week.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.